But yeah, so obviously you're at Angel Park.
Yes.
And you didn't go to Angel Park.
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
I attended on Flow.
What'd you think?
I don't know. I don't think there's. I think it could have been. I don't think it was as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
No.
It's a shame that another show didn't get in, completely. But I don't think that all the heat should go on RA. It seems like there's a lot of heat going on them. It happened. It just so happened that 2 nights in a row. That doesn't make them look good either. But
yeah. Were they canceled or were they pushed back or MSA was pushed back?
360s, yeah.
At Plymouth. Okay.
At Plymouth,
At
right?
Plymouth.
They were the last class, yeah, and right. I suppose if I was a 360 driver, I'd probably be pissed too. But maybe.
I mean, that's happened to us at Wilmot, the Wingless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, twice.
It's,
I feel it's only been 2 or 3 times, like in 10 years. So I mean, it happens.
With the 10 o'clock curfew at Angel Park, they should do 2 classes.
That, or you got a 10 o'clock curfew. Let's start at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's get cars on the track 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why not? You don't have to do it every week, but when you got a division that you have to push off all your a bunch of cars, let's start an hour, 2 hours early.
Yep. So what I heard was that they brought the legends in because they were expecting their average 16 cars, 2 heat races in a main, and they brought 30.
Yeah.
And so now that's a B.
Of course.
Yeah.
And those are things out of your control.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would have been was like, should you be going first? Like,
and they're trying to keep people in the seats, so they're putting the sprint cars last, but at some point you gotta give the people what they paid for.
Yep. And I mean, the midgets, that has to be top 5 race of all time. With the midgets.
I guess that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, there's been a lot of complaint about track conditions, not just there, but as of late, and it's like everybody seems to, no matter what, adapt, go out there, drive, and put a show on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter how they feel about it.
Exactly.
They still.
Saturday night's Wingless show at Plymouth was one of the best features I've seen in my life. It was great.
Yeah.
You could throw a blanket over the top 5.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wasn't at Plymouth, and I heard that was the same case at Plymouth's feature. Top 5 were like on top of each other.
We were. I mean, there was a point there. I think I was running 5th or 6th, and I'm literally watching these 4 cars in front of me,
Bumper
2 wide, just elbow to elbow, like.
You can close the door. Sorry.
And none of them, in the Wingless is, none of us are professionals. These are all guys that, if they can do it, anybody can do it.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Bench Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Crane, and with me today we have a stacked field at the table. We have Jimmy Sivia, the 2019 track champion, 2020 Wisconsin Wingless champion, and consistently one of the cars to always beat in the heat race. So thank you, Jimmy, for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Also with us, we have our helmet painter, Jack Eschbach from Jack's Helmet Design. Thank you, Jack, for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
And if you're looking for a helmet, I mean, beautiful helmets here. You got that one up there. The other 2 are upstairs. Unfortunately, still full of clay. But can't do that.
It's bad luck to wash them, isn't it?
After a win, yes. Yes.
That's my theory.
You told me that.
Yeah. So this episode of the Bench Racing Podcast is presented by Jack's Helmet Design. And then don't forget, August 5th, we have our live audience show at Hold My Beer. That's going to be Monday, August 5th. Link is in the description. The event is on Facebook to save the date, so check that out. And thank you, Sean Sticks, for tuning in. He says, hi, Jimmy Sivia, David Schutzen. All right, let's go. And Will Lynn, hashtag Team Jacks.
Yep,
there you go.
Another one.
Yep. So we'll get into a little bit again. Well, not again, but we had Colin Sivia. on here last season, and it's funny because I had Jacob Irwin on, and I was like, oh yeah, he's our youngest guest, and Brandon was like, but he's not. And I was like, Colin, I forgot. Colin is years ahead of him in knowledge. That's got to make you proud.
No, it does. It makes me very proud. For example, Saturday, at Plymouth, he was, Tate Hensley, he got his first win, and Colin was there. Noticed that he really didn't have any help. Tate went up there all by himself because Ellie was racing at Wilmot, and, Colin came up to me, he's like, hey, Dad, you mind if I go help Tate? He doesn't have any help. And I said, yeah, go ahead. And he did. He went down there. He was helping him all night. He was checking in with me to make sure everything was good there. But that's cool. There's a lot of teams that got trust in him and let him come and, be a part of their team also.
Note to self, Saturday, ask for Colin's help.
Yeah. He's been in more victory lane pictures this
than
year
all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got the hot setup.
Yep. Push Truck Tony, the two troublemakers, Jimmy and Jack.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
The dynamic duo.
And I forgot, Jimmy IE is behind the camera.
Indeed I am.
Part of the show, so thanks you, IE, for coming. So we got into a little bit about Colin's racing background, so let's get into, and you were kind of talking about your racing background on his show last season, but why number 91?
So 91, it starts with, when we decided to go non-wing racing, obviously my father and my mom, they own the whole operation, and I have my relatives, my uncles, Jim Sullivan, he was number 91, and that was my uncle's, one of his favorite drivers from way back in the day, and we kind of they wanted to do something different, just get away. My number was 2B when I raced wing cars, and they just kind of wanted to, switch it up, make it their own, and so you don't see too many 91s out there.
No.
Except for when we pulled in the pits and
you were 91.
Yeah, you just happened to park right next to you.
Yeah.
We're like, what are the odds? But no, that's where that comes from, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
T91's got a little jingle to it.
Yeah, it does. What year were you born?
I was 88.
88. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I kind of figured maybe that's why 91. Because it seems like there's some drivers that go with their birth year, like Nathan.
Sure.
That's why his number's 97. But we just went to 91 because we were doing birth years, and Dad was like, "You're not going to be my number," because he picked 91 because of Jim Sullivan.
Okay.
When he raced, so I was like, "I'm going to be 91." He's like, "Well, all right." And then you show up, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, oh. Well, and then that's at the end of the year. I'm like, "Hey, I'm not going to be 91, so you have 91."
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, you switched to 19.
Yep. Went back to 19. The nickname Siv. The Siv. I mean, is there any other nicknames?
Siv is more my dad. He all his buds started calling him Siv, and I think it just kind of sticks. There's a select group that calls me that, and no rhyme or reason. I don't have too many other nicknames except for
anything
whatever it may be that day. If I piss somebody off, or you never know. Could be something different every day.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got Push Truck Tony here. That 91 loves the high side. That is 100% true.
Sure.
If you can maintain with the 91 on the top side, you got some speed. Another question here that Ashley always likes me to ask our guests. So we'll start with Jimmy here. What do you do outside of racing? And we're not going to say Colin's racing because we know that's a huge part. What else does Jimmy Sivia like to do during the week?
I guess when I'm not racing, in the winter, snowmobiling, working on stuff in the garage. I do enjoy, working in the yard, doing stuff like that. Though Colin has taken a big portion of that. I can't remember the last time I cut the grass. But
does he charge you?
He probably would because just because he didn't have to do it, or he'd be giving me crap about not getting the line straight. But no, anything outdoors, So it's hard to say nowadays. Because we're if we're not racing with myself or Colin. My daughter, she's really into art and stuff. So draw and stuff and do different art projects with her. Try to do that with her. So
nice, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Jack, we've known you for 25 plus years, easy.
At least.
At
Well, I worked with your father.
Yeah, that's right.
For 30 years. So.
Yeah. At Abbott.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you like to do outside of racing and painting helmets?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of different interests. I love fishing, stick and ball sports. I love football.
Yeah.
Big Packer fan. I know Jimmy here.
Oh boy. This is the year. The Bears are going to do it. They're going to sweep them.
I always say this to your father.
Yeah.
1985 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm done with 1985. Okay?
But no, I mean, I've always worked 2 jobs.
Okay.
Busy with that. I have some, other interests outside of a regular job.
Okay.
But the helmet thing is just like my third thing I do, and really the only reason I started doing those was just to stay within the racing community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when was your first helmet?
40 years ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually
40 years ago, they probably didn't even have full face helmets.
Yeah.
They did. The way it's kind of it was. I just started painting them on a whim because the cost even back then was pretty high.
Yeah.
I used to help a guy that raced midgets, Marty Davis, and he had a helmet that was so beat up. It looked terrible. And I was always good at models and art and designs and that. And
Okay.
I said to him, I go, hey, can I paint that helmet for you? And he's like, yeah, he could care less. It was really beat up. So I took it home. I swear I had a quart of Bondo in it. It took me a whole week. He gave it to me on Sunday night, and he needed it the following Sunday. So, yeah, I spent the whole week working on it, painted it purple, silver, black, and white. Nice. It didn't look too bad, really, for a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And then he went to the track up at Angel Park, and Danny Boris walked by, and he's like, hey, Marty, who painted your helmet? And I know Danny pretty well, and he's like, well, I'll give you mine. He gave me a brand new one in the box. Randy Fiskus gave me one.
Nice.
I painted one for Aaron Fiskus, and then it just kind of stemmed from there. And then my buddy Jimmy Utek and his brothers were all racing at Wilmot, and I used to help those guys, so it just took off from there.
Wow. So how many helmets do you think you've done? Oh, Jimmy IE.
Drop the ball.
500, I bet you.
500.
That many, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
So with 500, is there any one that you're just like, that is my favorite one I've ever, whether it turned out the best or you're just like, that was my favorite design?
Because I like orange, that's my favorite color. Logan Julian's helmet that I just did for him this year is my favorite helmet.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it just stands out. It was, Brian gave it to me in a box. He said, you can do whatever you want. I called him up. I said, I have like 5 different color oranges. He goes, orange it up. And that's what I did. So,
nice.
Yeah, I like painting any color, every color. I don't care about designs. If somebody has a design, I'll follow their design. I like designing also.
Sure. Yeah. So if anyone's out there listening that wants to get their helmet painted, how to get a hold of you, and where are we talking prices?
Jack's Helmet Designs. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I have a set scale now for a helmet. I mean, a lot of guys charge for different colors. I charge $650 for everything. And I always like to tell this to people because I don't want people to think I'm ripping them off. I have about $250 in materials in the helmet and probably 12 to 15 hours in each helmet. So I'm making about $10 an hour to paint them.
And they turn out like this, amazing.
Sure.
Yep. And this is Jack's helmet right here from 15 years ago, you said?
15 years ago.
And it's still strong. It's still bright.
Yeah, so it's brand new.
Yeah.
Really does.
When you race on asphalt.
Yeah, right. Don't look like my helmet from Saturday night.
No.
Yeah, oh, my
wow,
goodness.
that was unbelievable.
Question,
It was.
were you light or did you make weight?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was no worries about weight.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was hammered
I bet
out.
you there was, 100 pounds extra mud on that car, you know?
Seriously. Well, this is a great segue here to topic 1, presented by Next Gen Pumps, veteran-owned, American-made, warranty like no other. If you need some pumps or tires, check out Tom Brown and Next Gen Pumps in Silver Lakes. So we're going to talk about Jimmy Sivia's season so far. So May 11th, finished 2nd. And May 18th at Plymouth, he finished 5th. And no heat race wins yet. That's a little shocking.
Yeah, we got a couple seconds and 5th on Saturday. But you look at it like that. But man, it's just like every one of these races to this point, we've been right there.
Yeah.
Within just right there, just great races, close finishes. I feel like we don't have a big scale to draw from right yet, because it's still really early in the season. But if what we've done already is any indication of how the rest of the season is going to go for the series as a whole, like the racing in general, it's just a group of guys and the racing on the track. It's fun. It's a blast. I literally get out of my car, like high five, and the drivers that are next to me, Ryan Marshall.
Yeah.
It's something that I look forward to. Like just we could, if something were to happen, we both know like it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're racing each other as hard as we possibly can, and I think that goes for anybody out there. It's like, but no, as far as my season goes, I'm happy with where we're at. We haven't been outside of the top 5 yet. I did. The track, I was in the first set for qualifying on Saturday, and I think the track sped up, probably a half second to a second from the first set to the third set. I was in the first set, and I ended up 9th.
Yeah. I think I was behind you. I was in 10th. Now I was mad.
Yeah, so I was, because you want to be in that top 7 to certify yourself being in that invert.
Yeah.
So, otherwise you kind of got to win that heat race. I started on the front row, and I still ended up finishing 2nd to Ryan.
Yep.
And but still, after a great race, so it's hard to be upset. I'm happy with where we're at.
Yep. Points aren't updated yet, but you should be the points leader.
Yeah, I think so, by a slim margin. I'm thinking like a point or two maybe over.
Because you beat Egan.
Yeah.
But Marshall beat you, but he was only 15
I think
down on you,
Ryan's
so it's like
within a point of me.
Yeah, it's like
a point or two.
So as of right now, first, second, and you're only 2 points behind in Wilmot points to Rusty Egan, because obviously there's only one race there. So you're starting the year off pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want. I mean, but really it's it's hard to even look at points right now because
so early.
You just gotta be you gotta be consistent, man. You gotta finish races and you gotta be right there every night.
Yeah. All right, you can't back yourself.
Okay.
But who is the guy that you think could win a championship this year?
Ryan Marshall.
Ryan Marshall.
No doubt.
Jack.
Yeah, Ryan Marshall looks stout, and Rusty's been fast too.
Rusty's,
when you did the survey a couple weeks ago, I forgot all about Rusty.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty strong.
Very strong.
It's funny, people do tend to kind of forget about Rusty, but they don't realize that he's been racing probably longer than
most of us.
The
series.
You got a couple guys that maybe got a little over him, Tim Cox, but Rusty's been doing this for probably 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's one of those guys that's really really aggressive.
He's
but
aggressive, good,
but it's not. He doesn't give you a foot. He'll give you an eighth of an inch.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah. So, is there anything on the schedule that you're really looking forward to? Or any races?
No,
coming up?
I am. I'm looking forward to this trip we got up north. It's a 3-day deal at Cedar Lake or at Jim Falls on Friday night, Cedar Lake Saturday, and then back down to Sun Prairie on Sunday.
Yep. So that is Friday, May 31st at Eagle Valley, June 1st at Cedar Lake, and June 2nd at Angel Park.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to go up there and race with that UMSS. There's some, there's a good handful of really good drivers up there.
Yeah.
And it'd be good just go up there and see how we stack up against them. Our rules give us a little bit of an advantage over them, but they got home field advantage.
Yeah.
They got
thousands of laps
around Cedar Lake. Jake Kuba, he's no slouch. And for as many times as he's come down here and supported our series, it'll be nice to go up there and check out their turf.
Yeah, I mean, not to stir the pot or anything. I kind of like to do that sometimes.
But let's stir.
Let's stir it a little bit. Let's not get it to overflow, but just stir it a little.
Let's start stirring.
Yeah. I don't like. How many times have we been able to go up there?
None. Yeah.
One time, and I think that was for non-points back in 2017 or 18 or something. And I even messaged them when I was driving BG's car because BG was like, "Hey,
I begged
go up
them.
there?" Nope, can't do it. So now I find it a little interesting, just a little bit, that now we're able to go up there.
Yeah.
Right after they had a split.
Yeah.
Between their UMSS and now they have a open motor non-wing 410 kind of deal, and now it's kind of like, oh, that is a little interesting.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So I'm gonna be curious. Obviously, I'm not going up there, but I'm gonna be kind of curious just to see what UMSS guys are there. I think Jake would probably. Probably has his car still, or engine.
Yeah, and I feel like, the majority of the guys that run that deal will be there because I really do believe they're probably looking just as much forward to racing against some of us as we are them. We've been, trying to do this for years.
Yeah.
There was I don't know, maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago. We did have a race where they came down, but it ended up raining out.
Yeah.
And so it'll be nice to do it.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard when there's a 2-day show down here for them, and one gets rained out, or one's looking really bad with weather that they're going to come down for one show. Yeah, so
exactly.
Yeah, Charlie Lancourt here. Don't count out Cuck's house for the championship. He's
been running strong too. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm keeping track because stat man here. But I think let me pull it up real quick. He has so far 2 top.
Listen, if he had just a little bit of luck on his side, as far as features go, the last 2 races, he knocked his front end out at Wilmot, and then while running, he was battling for lead, when that happened, and then he was right up in the mix at Plymouth. I think he set quick time.
Yep. 2 out of 3 so far for quick
he's
time.
a hell of a qualifier, no doubt. Yeah. And a racer, so
very clean. I mean, I feel that the list of the wingless drivers now is this much of drivers are oh, I can't wait to race with them, and then there's a couple of drivers I really don't care to race with, or because you get next to them and they're just gonna do something unpredictable.
Yes.
So I mean that's really good with the talent level in the Wisconsin wingless. So your next race is gonna be May 25th. Right, at Wilmot for Founders Night?
Yeah, this coming weekend,
Yep, at Wilmot Raceway.
IRA show also.
Yeah, you got it's Founders Night there, so that's a pretty big deal, and man, it'd be cool to win on that night. I feel like the stands would be packed that night. It's a big event for Wilmot, big event for IRA.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I went to Wilmot on Saturday night. I was very surprised how full stands were.
That's what I heard. I heard it was a good turnout.
And I mean,
it's great.
Gotta be careful with my words here, but there was no title class running that night.
Sure.
The 604 wing cars are still so new.
Yep.
Right? And then there was still that. They were full.
Yeah.
Based on the last 2 weekends here, I'm pretty sure that the IRA is gonna stamp their foot down and be like, we're ending before curfew. To really get this back on track.
Does Wilmot have a curfew?
I think it's a loose 11. I think it's loose 11.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we've ever. I can't remember last time where somebody came up and was like, man, we're tight on time there.
Yeah. Yep. So like Jimmy Sivia said here, Founders Night. You got the 410s, Wisconsin Wingless, and the Lightning Sprints. It's $13 for adults, $25 for adults, which are 13 plus of age, and then pit passes are $30. It will be on Flow Racing, so if you don't want to travel. You can watch from your house, and then pits open at 2, gates open at 4, hot laps at 5:45, racing at 6:45. Are you looking forward to the Founders Night, Jack?
Well, I've actually been going to Wilmot since since '74 when the track opened. I was 7 years old. So I mean Wilmot is my home track. It's closest to the house. I think Plymouth is the number 1 track for me in Wisconsin, but I love going out there. The new stands, all the upgrades. It's
very cool.
It's looking beautiful, and I'm happy they're investing the money in that place.
Yeah,
right.
It's,
especially nowadays, man.
Yeah.
When you see racetracks, pouring money into their facility like they are, you got to imagine that it can't be easy to do, in this day and age. But it's very cool to see. It's been home for, I could say, all of us for as long as we can remember.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, going back on Saturday, I just sat like where we normally sat, and just like when I was a kid watching, I'm like, man, this is like cool again. Like, yeah, the Wing 604s aren't a second and a half faster or whatever it is from the Ford, but it's just nice to see the Wing sprint
kids sitting in the stands though doesn't.
No,
they don't know the difference.
Yeah, they don't.
No. Most people probably don't unless they actually are involved.
Involved, and at that point.
But an average fan, they're not going there like, man, these 604s are a second and a half slower.
Yeah, you see that he messed up. That's 2/10 right there going down the back.
That series right now is like, the Wingless series was in 2015.
Yeah.
They're just starting out.
Let him breathe.
Yep.
Yeah, let it get going.
Just like the Wingless thing, that you want to get the locals involved, and hopefully you see more and more people putting cars together.
So we were off last Monday, so I just want to give May 11th shout outs to the top 5. I don't have heat race winners or fast times, but just the top 5s. In the Wingless, Rusty Egan +1, Jimmy Sivia second +1, Zach Rader +3 in third, Ryan Marshall in fourth went +3, and Johnny Fall in fifth +5. So moving there.
He's another one that's
just gonna say
that.
Yeah. When we did our top
fast.
10 list, he was one of those that just escaped my
I feel
mind.
like he's like, you could just see Johnny in his helmet smiling like,
Yeah.
don't count me out.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Silent but deadly touch.
Exactly.
Yep. In Street Stocks, you had Gehrig winning the Street Stock feature, Newberry second, Olson third, Cruiser fourth, and Glenka fifth. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Modifieds, Kudrowski, Crowbridge, Hamburg, Worth, and Powers are your top 5 in the modifieds. And then the first, I guess we call it the first official, right? Because last year they were just kind of feeling it out. The first official Wing 604 feature, CJ Malik, Chris Klemko in second, Brian Kirsan third, Greg Olson fourth, and Tommy Sexton fifth. And then now we can get back to this weekend. May 18th at Plymouth was the Wisconsin Wingless. Tate Hensley gets his first win, starting on pole, finishing first. But I mean, they were.
He earned it.
I saw some of the flow
every
stuff.
Every single lap of that. One screw up, and there was 3 guys that could have capitalized on it.
Yeah. Do you like leading the whole feature?
Yeah, I'd rather.
You rather?
I'd rather.
I'd rather come up through a little bit.
Me too. If you ask my son, there's no worse spot to start than on the pole. Like, he wants to start third, right?
And my mindset is you start pole, it can only go down.
Like
you start last, you can only go up.
I look at it as like it's however many laps, it's a bunch of qualifying laps.
Yep.
Jump out front and run your race.
Yep. And then the guy we were just speaking of, Johnny Fall, finished second. He went +1. Tristan Furseth, last year's Rookie of the Year, finished third, +2. Ryan Marshall, fourth, +2. So 2 fourths for Marshall. So that's consistent. And then Jimmy Sivia here, fifth, went +4. So that only gives you 2 guys so far to finish in the top 5 both nights. And that is 3. Johnny Fall, Ryan Marshall, and Jimmy Sivia. So there's 3 guys there. So I think we're getting there. We're starting to see who's the cream of the crop there.
Yeah.
And then at Wilmot, Street Stocks, Blake Cruiser won +1. Robbie Olson went +2 in second. Dustin Holland started third, finished third. Brandon Murders +7, came from the tail. If he didn't run over that debris, he was going to win it. He was going to win it. So he finished fourth, though. And then Tim Kalinka finished fifth. He went +4. Mods, Joel Crowbridge went +8. What a feature. All the classes at Wilmot put on a feature, but the modifieds. Wittenberg and Mueller checked out, and they were running each other hard. And then the guy in third, I can't even think of his name now, but 37. Like, he was definitely a weapon unloaded with a safe off, like just all over the place. And he was holding the group back, and we're like, man, this is gonna get crazy. and they were down to like 3 laps to go, and the 37 car got loose going into 3, went through that little opening in the banking, went through, and everyone just tried to get in front of him before turn 1, and dude came in and just drilled. Kudrowski flipped him. It was the only red flag of the night.
Wow.
Destroyed the car, unfortunately. It still rolls, but the cage is all crimped.
Yeah, fresh rivet gun.
Yeah, seriously. So then we're like, okay, who's it going to be? Mueller, Wittenberg, and Crowbridge on the restart just ripped him on the outside and just drove off into the sunset. So Joe Crowbridge wins. That feature was awesome. Steve Mueller finished second with +2. Mike Wittenberg -2 finished third. Joel Siegert -1 finished fourth, and Bart Sievert +8. Wing 604's Tommy Sexton won that feature +3. Ian Steer +3 finishing second. Dan Wade -2 but finished third and led 7 laps. 7 laps. Chris Klemko could not catch Dan Wade. +2. I just want to say that for everyone that's like, he started on push. I'm like, he was strong. Dan Wade ran a really good race. And Ellie Hensley finishing 5th, so very good for the Hensley team.
No doubt.
A top 5 in the 604 and a feature win. And last but not least, the Bandits. Jay Orr won that one +3. Austin Orth second +1. Ryan Andrews -2. Finishing third. Craig Cruiser +5 and fourth. And Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson started 5th, finished 5th, but his rigor was all.
I heard there was like, 28 or 30 Bandits there.
31.
That's
31.
That is.
They were the only B main of the night, and I mean the B main was okay, because it was definitely like the guys that knew that they were transferring were just kind of sitting there.
Sure.
But man, I know Hard Charger though was Scott Carpenter. He went like +12 or something in the feature in the Bandits. Like
nice.
I love the way that guy's car, how it looks. Orange.
Yeah. Orange.
Orange and blue.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so David Schusten here says Bandits and Street Stocks were awesome Saturday night. Yeah, it was. I mean, all 4 of those classes. Plus, unfortunately, we weren't at the Plymouth one, but that was a barn burner as well. Get back to the pits at Wilmot to drink. And that's when I started hearing about rumors of the stuff that was going on at Plymouth with curfew issues, cars wadding stuff up. So, Jimmy, did you see what happened in the Wingless?
I did not. It looked like quite the mess. So what I think happened is Austin Hansen. I think he got a little loose and spun out and left quite a few cars with nowhere to go.
And that was lap 1?
No,
or like
it
the
was
first
probably
few laps in?
Yeah,
okay.
3-4 laps in.
Yeah.
So still when everyone's on top of each other.
It was a good, like 10 to 15 minutes, sitting in that car waiting for them to clean that mess up, because there was like, I think Gartner was like
He was
parked on top of
Bryce. He was on top of Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce. Yep. And
Yep.
so, just a mess. Unfortunate, but they got it cleaned up. And
I mean, the pictures I saw, 5-6 cars?
yeah.
At least 5-6 cars.
Yeah,
I mean, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get that all cleaned up. That's pretty good.
It seemed like forever sitting in that race car, but this, it can't be easy.
Yeah. Did you see what happened? You were at Plymouth, right?
Yeah, I did. I didn't see the beginning of it, but the white car, I think it was the 4L or whatever, was carrying a ton of speed. I thought he was going over the fence.
No kidding.
It was a pretty good. It was a pretty violent accident.
Yeah.
I was just happy to see everybody come out of it unscathed.
Well, yeah, that's what I heard. It was a white car, and I'm trying to think who's white. I'm like, Lance Thompson was
67 car.
It might have been. It might have been. It was. I know.
I think that was his first night racing. That was his first start there.
He was carrying a lot.
I can't even remember the kid's name.
Yeah. I wrote it down. I think here.
It looked like a Keith Coombs number,
right?
67.
Yeah.
That same style.
Miles Doherty. Doherty. Yeah. That's the guy that came out of midgets.
Okay.
Oh.
He came out of Badger Midgets. I saw him at World of Wheels and we were talking about it a little bit. Okay. So that's who he was, because I was like, from Iowa.
Yeah, well, I don't really think it was his fault. There was just nowhere to go. The track was plugged up, and he was on it, coming into 3. So
exactly. Yeah, we already kind of touched on the IRA at Angel Park and what a night that was. But yeah, from the racing standpoint, phenomenal. I mean, we were saying in the infield, this one dude, number 1, I don't even know his name, but he was about that far off. There's no cushion. Like, there's nothing to lean on. You could drive on it a little bit. It was awful. And he was about an inch off 4 or 5 laps in a row. And then yellow came out. And we're like, okay, who wants to bet that he wads it up? Because he got everything cold. But no, he transferred. And, yeah, that whole thing, like at the beginning of the episode, was kind of sucky.
That track has its way of eating cars.
Yeah, it's definitely eaten me a couple times.
Yeah.
You a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still sitting here like, June 2nd, do we really want to risk it? Like, I don't know.
I love that place, man.
Yeah.
I really
it's history.
do. Wilmot's, number 1, but, Angel Park's right there, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to our game. And this is going to be
game time.
Yeah, Jimmy, you can you can help them out if they need some
chime
help.
in.
Yeah, Facebook.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend. Yeah. Phone IE.
50-50.
All right, so the game is brought to you by Ashley Bree Photography. If you're looking for a wedding photographer to capture your special day, check out Ashley Bree Photography at ashleybreephoto.com. The game is back and forth, so Jimmy and Jack are on the same team.
Right on.
You just try to hit everybody on this list. However, whoever gets it wrong, the other person wins. All right. So, name the top 30 drivers in A-main appearances for the Wisconsin Wingless. So, as long as the Wisconsin Wingless has existed, we're just going to start going off. You don't have to get it in order. I will just give you where they're at. And this is as of pre-2024. So that's why you guys have some pens and paper here, just so you can start to write names down. So we will start with Sivia. Give me a name.
Tim Cox.
Tim Cox is 3rd on the list with 138 starts.
The
Civ. Right behind him, 4th with 133. Sivia.
Derek Crane.
6th on the list, 123.
Zilski or whatever.
Zilski, 5th on the list, 127. Taters, number 2. Taters is number 2 on the list with 153. Johnny Fall, 18th on the list at 62. We're still missing number 1.
I know who it is.
Tom Eller.
Tom Eller, 21st on the list at 55.
Klemko.
Yeah.
Which one?
Number 1. Chris.
Number 1.
He's
Chris
got the
Klemko.
most feature starts.
Yep, 157, and because of the split now, he has missed 1 Wisconsin Wingless sanctioned race. But he was perfect up until this weekend. Sivia. Oh yeah, Matt Roebuck says Klemko. Tater, 153 A-main starts.
Wow.
I'll go with, what the hell am I going to go with? Natalie.
Natalie is 8th on the list with 100.
Rusty.
7th on the list with 102. So you guys cleared out the top 8.
Paulson.
Jordan Paulson is 11th on the list with 83.
How about, this is going back to the inception of the...
Since 2016, because they don't have...
I got another one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Todd Lear.
Todd Lear.
Dan Wade.
So
I'm out.
you're out. So Sivia wins, but he said, what was yours?
Dan Wade.
Dan Wade. Let me see if I can find 26th on the list with 47. Do you have? So Jimmy Sivia wins.
All right.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's exciting.
That's my first one of the year.
Yeah. Woo.
There you go.
Yeah. So you know what that means? He's gonna go sweep it now.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Do you have anyone else that you just want to try to rattle?
brother.
Nathan 9th with 99. Anybody?
Richardson.
Josh Davidson.
Davidson, yes.
Josh Davidson.
Dennis Spitz.
Spitz. No Davidson.
Yeah, Dennis has been there.
Spitz is 10th with 91. We can rattle some off. Facebook, feel free to rattle anyone off that you think is in the top 30 drivers. That
Zach
with
Radar.
A main appearances. Zach Radar's 19th. And remember, this is appearances, not times you showed up. And so Radar's got 61. And again, before 2024.
Marshall's been called.
Doug Shank.
Marshall is 12th
Oh,
with
he's-
81.
Marshall.
Shank is 20th with 60.
Olson.
Olson is
Greg Olson.
Greg Olson. I think he's on here.
Jordan Matson.
Greg Olson is tied with in 15th with 71. Jordan Matson is 23rd with 52.
How about Doug Shank?
Doug Shank was already called.
Yeah.
60. He's 22nd with 60 or 20th with 60. There we go. Anybody else?
I don't know. Ralph Johnson's not been racing that long.
No, but Gartner.
George
One of the
Gardner.
Gartners?
One of them. The Temptations group. How
The
about that?
Temptations group. All right, let's see here.
Well, as far as A main appearances, that might
Yeah.
not be.
Big George is 24th with
Okay.
50. And Ralph Johnson is actually the bottom of 30 with 36. He's 30, so he was the cutoff.
Trinity?
Nope.
No. I figured.
Anybody else?
Bryce.
Bryce Andrews is a no. Nope. So
Rossman. Is he on
Clayton.
the list?
yep, 17th with 63. It's crazy, that kid.
He's a talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. We got Hafford says Campton.
Campton. That was gonna be my
How
next
about
guess.
C.J. Malik?
Campton is tied in 23rd with 60 or 52. Rossman was called. Yep. Sivia was already called.
C.J. Malik.
CJ Malik is a no. All right. So anybody else? Good.
Yeah.
All righty. So drivers that were missed. Chris Dodd was 77.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Greg Alt 74. Jake Kuba in 16th with 70. We had tied for 20th with Doug Shank was James Walden and Vince Bartolotta.
The Crusher.
The Crusher, yep. 22nd was Sully
Solid.
with 52.
Grissom.
Grissom was tied with
I was gonna
Jordan
say, but I didn't
Matson.
know if he had
and
enough
Crab
A
Camp.
main appearances.
Yeah. So he was is tied. Craig Lager tied with Nick Petska for 25th with 48. Randy Stanford was 45 and 27th. Jimmy Kuba and Seth Johnson in 28th with 43. And then Brian Strain Sr. and Tate Hensley in 29th with 40. So crazy. And I did actually slash like how many years they were. So the highest one with obviously 1, 2, 3 is 8 years. Jimmy's with 7 years, so he's pretty high up there. Zelski is 7 years. I'm an 8. Rusty Egan at 6 years. So really get to Dennis Spitz and Ryan Marshall. That's 4 and 6 years there, and they're just outside the top 10. So those guys were killing it.
Kentucky Colonel.
Yep.
Kentucky Colonel.
Yep. So that was the game presented by Ashley Breed Photography. And then what does the future look like for Jimmy Sivia here?
I mean, as far as this season, obviously we're in a race for the championship this year, but I keep saying it, but I my son, gotta get him going a little bit more on Saturdays. I'm gonna have to slow it down and take him. It's just such a blast, and it's so cool, to watch him and so that's what the future looks like.
Yeah.
Me slowing down and him racing more, for
Nice.
sure.
Do you see a lot of you and him?
Yeah.
Reliving some things too. Like,
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
awesome.
as far as the way I went racing with my dad. Just like we are. Like we do it. We do as a family. So it's cool. I don't know that it would be the way it is if my wife Jessica and my daughter weren't into it.
Yeah.
Like they are.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot harder. But like next week, obviously we got our big 3-day weekend, but we're looking at having a little speed week for Colin too. We're gonna start at Viola on Sunday, and then Monday at X7, and then Wednesday at Thunder Hill in Menominee, and Thursday at Beaver Dam, and then come back home and we'll hit the road for me.
Nice. And what dates were those, or what time of the year?
That's good. That's coming up
this week.
Next week.
Next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
So before you go for your 3-day, or
that week.
Oh my.
Yeah, that week. Yeah.
Man, you need to vlog that stuff, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, and what the coolest thing about it is that it was my wife's idea. It was.
Yes.
That's great. It's gonna be a busy week for sure, but it's very cool because I got a lot of great help on my race car.
Yeah.
So my team will be able to get the car ready and do all that. Matt is back from his big vacation now, and so he'll.
Super Wrench is back.
Super Wrench is back, and he was definitely missed on Saturday at Plymouth.
You just commented, will they race against each other?
Yes, that will happen.
Yes.
I gotta show him
Who's
how to do a slide job.
Yeah, how to do a slide job.
Yeah, so he's gonna learn.
So do you enjoy the wing stuff, the wing carts more than the flat track, or is it still like a learning curve? Or?
No, I do enjoy the wing carts, mainly because of the tire game. On these wing carts, they run treaded Hoosiers. And we're not allowed to prep them. We can't do nothing to them. You can literally just put water on them to clean them, in between races, but no kind of prep. And in flat kart racing, it is nothing but a full-time
10 sets of wheels and tires.
More than that, I mean, you'll have a garage full of them by the time you're done, and it's every night of the week you're scrubbing, prepping, and if you don't, you might as well stay home.
So can you groove the wing cart tires, or is that part of prep?
They're already grooved, and we can. I do. I groove them, sipe them. You can do that. But literally, where I had 30 sets of tires and wheels for a flat cart, I have 2 sets of Hoosiers, and really, we run one set. There's no need. To change them.
And he's got 2 feature wins already this year.
Clean sweeps.
2 clean sweeps. Yeah, he literally, as far as outdoor season goes, he has not lost yet. Yeah, it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I'm trying to keep him, and I really don't have to tell him, man. You don't want to get cocky. You don't want to get a big head. Because in the snap of a finger, you could be here to 0 tomorrow.
Yeah. There's a little interview on YouTube here with John Sambro.
Okay.
When he was like super dominant in the Paul Hazen car.
He was.
And there's a part where he's just like, we came in there and we were the guy, and I felt that was the only night that I felt like I'm here to crush him, and he said I couldn't get out of my own way.
Wow. Right.
And then reset with the mind next week. He went out there and started winning again. He's like, so the mind is a big thing. So.
Gotta stay humble and just keep having fun, and always know that there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, exactly. What's future for Zach? Jax, there we go.
Not much. I'm getting ready to retire from work, so I'm gonna have a lot more free time.
Nice.
A lot less money, but I'll have a lot more free time. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing, going to the races and watching and cheering and painting helmets and continuing all my friendships with the people I have in the pits and the stands. And I like to come down and
I was
talk to Jimmy sometimes and say.
I always look forward to what I did wrong.
Yeah, I know. I said I always tell him like, okay, I was trying to use telekinesis to get you to come down in 1 and 2 on the bottom at the last 2 laps, but Jimmy is the high side hustler. He's gonna live by the sword or die by the sword, and you know what? That's great. I don't fault him for that.
He is my meter if the top's in or out.
Sure.
Yeah. Because if he's up there and he ain't going nowhere, there's no way I'm doing anything up there.
It's funny though. Sometimes the top looks like it's out, and he'll go up a tire length higher and pulls off like a bullet coming out of 2. So
yeah,
I'm just a fan. I've never raced one of these things, so I can't talk to it. But yeah, I'd like to just come in and give him my 2 cents, and he takes it like a champ.
Yeah.
It probably cost me that feature at Wilmot. After you don't realize it so much racing in the car, but after I've watched the video of numerous times, I probably watched it 40 times.
Yeah.
And man, I was just the way like going into one, I was off the launch, man. I was like, what the hell are you doing way the hell up there?
Yeah.
All I would have had to done is stuck the bottom in 1 and 2. And run my line in 3 and 4, and I probably could have made a much better race out of it.
Yeah.
Because he was just getting better and better on the bottom.
Yeah. Do you feel that watching more of your races that you lost helps you than watching races that you've won?
There is no better thing in the world than YouTube. I mean, I religiously watch. Like just the other night, I'm watching videos from 2017, like how the car was looking, how it's reacting, thinking about what I was doing back then to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
If that can, maybe I can do those things that I was doing now, but now I know a little bit more. Maybe I can put a twist on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there's no better learning tool than that, and
it's the people with that mindset that just keeps elevating the class.
Yeah.
Because you're only as strong as your best guy in your series. So if those guys are always consistently rotating and getting better, well, that's just naturally dragging everybody out. Like, for instance, Josh Davidson. He has not had his big jazz hands kind of night where he's wow, he put it at 7th. But if you look at him, he's consistently making features. Well, now this year, since there's no Bs, but he's still like I said, keeping track. He's still 2nd or 3rd for hard charger.
2 years ago, it's no fault against him, but it's like nobody was talking about Josh Davidson, and now I feel like you hear his name more and more.
The Quiet Riot himself.
Yep.
It's he's coming along, and that's what it takes. You ain't gonna just jump in a race car and go out there. I think some people get that because they're not winning or right there in their 1st or 2nd year. Like, I mean, it took me 10 years to get half good.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just saying with the game, everyone in this list and that's making features consistently have been doing it for years and years and years, and there's been years where they still miss.
Sure.
There's Tim Cox, last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about top 10, he has 138 A-main starts, he has 120 top 10 finishes. So that means 18 features he did not finish in the top 10.
Sure.
And a lot of those were last year. But
but you bet
you
that
have
he's
to work
at
it.
home,
he's
in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the microscope, trying to figure out what he can do different, or and do it differently than everybody else. I think that's Tim's other thing. He doesn't want to be the exact same
cookie cutter, because then people are going to see it and be like, oh hey,
he's always been that way, and that's what's been so damn cool about Tim.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect a fully true answer from this one.
Sure.
You have no heat race wins yet, but you're the winningest heat race driver. Where does that success come from, do you think?
For me, I don't know that it comes from any, but I think it's cool as hell. I mean, wins are wins. I raced go-karts, from when I was probably 10 years old till I just got my license,
mm-hmm.
and I had one feature win in all those years. That was it.
Yeah.
So to be where we are now, and just to be able to compete for wins every week,
mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It really is. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And, and like I say, you gotta work at it. it didn't happen overnight. Like we're in the shop all the time. I'm always reading up on stuff. Matt's always reading up on stuff. Like I've had help, through the years from a lot of different people. I worked on Brian Christian's car. I was a crew guy for him for years. I learned a ton from him. Jeff Robinson, he helped me a lot. I worked for Super Shocks for a while. All those things. I learned a little bit from all of those.
Yeah, just a little bit here, a little bit there.
Daryl, my father-in-law, Daryl, he came and helped me for a whole season, and I learned a ton just in that year,
Yeah.
So, and I owe a lot to him as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, like you're usually, and now Marshall, he's perfect right now for heat race wins. Like, so like it's.
Heat races
91 and 7X in your heat race, you're like, well.
Heat races are great, but they don't. They
don't pay.
They don't pay, man.
But
when we were winning all those heat races, it's like it'd be nice to translate
14
that
in a
over
year
to the feature,
Yeah, 14.
But,
can I cash these in 14 for one feature? Like
you got 150 heat race wins, but 4 features.
Yeah.
It's the draw that gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're unlucky in the draw.
Yeah.
You qualify too good.
It's either I qualify first or second or 10th. I need to be like, 4th or 5th. I keep bagging them every year to put a 0 in that bag, and they won't do it.
Come down to the steel box. They line you straight up.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing we'll talk about.
They don't line straight up. Sometimes they do. But when I went down there, they threw an invert.
Yeah, that's true.
They come rolling up. They were all pumped up. I got quick time. Like, yep, we're gonna be on the fall. Nope. Oh, draw this pill. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
The outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those guys run hard.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them that's fun. Circle City's badass. I wish that place was, an hour closer.
Well,
I really do.
On our schedule for
a weekend. I mean, it's just big enough. It's really,
Plymouth.
Yeah.
It's Plymouth.
Yep.
For people that haven't seen that track, it's like
Plymouth with a wall around it. It's bad. I love it.
Yeah.
I really do. I wish it was an hour closer.
Yeah, and we're within the same time zone. That would help. And so, favorite track so you said Plymouth's your favorite?
Yes.
But Wilmot's home?
Yep.
Favorite track to watch or race? Or both?
I mean, Wilmot's number one for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's, if you go down, it's Wilmot, Sun Prairie, Plymouth.
Wilmot's Prairie, Plymouth.
For the fans' point of view, what I always liked about Plymouth, when I was a little kid, we used to go watch the modifieds up there too, is sitting on the front chute and they push the cars off. Mm-hmm. And you get that bird's eye view of it.
Yeah.
You can see the guy in the car adjusting himself. I mean, and to this day, I still sit in the same spot I sat in 1975. We sit right where they come out, and I'm always watching. Of course, I'm looking at the guys' helmets and all that too.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You're adjusting their belts, and I don't know. I just like that place.
Yeah.
Plymouth is actually getting right there. Like if they could keep it, prep like it's been. Granted, Saturday was a little heavy, but the last few times we raced there, it's been very racy for us, and just a blast to race around.
Yeah, I remember when we raced at Plymouth once a year.
Yeah.
And now it's coming up on the schedule more.
It's nice to go there other than championship night, because championship night is awesome, it's great, but
because of curfew, there's certain things
you're locked in.
You have to do.
It's at least every time you get locked in, so you're really only hitting the track for a three lap hot lap session, right before the bees, and then you're racing your feature. So it's cool to go there and run a full show.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's kind of changed the order of drivers that usually do really well there.
Sure.
Because
because
now you're racing it and you have to transfer in versus there's guys that qualify really good and they can't get out of their own way in the feature, and then there's vice versa. Yeah. But now that you have to run for the regular show, you have to be good in everything.
I don't see any reason why I think we had 22 cars there on Saturday. If we get that amount, there's no reason why we couldn't run a full show.
It's the championship night.
Yeah, championship night. You know, you do qualifying, a couple of heats, and
what's gonna happen though?
is the one year they did do that, I begged for it and it bit me.
Yeah.
You know.
But see, when that happens now, they're gonna be like, okay, we've been averaging 22 to 24 cars a night. Let's put a full show in, and 30 guys are going to show up because it's the last show of the year. And so I still see that it's still going to have that, but I think it's just so that they make sure that it's safe for the
IRA was stacked Saturday night. I couldn't believe how many cars they had. 33.
Yeah. And 33 good ones.
Yeah.
You know, right?
25 of the 360s. Yeah, it was a stacked show.
Yeah. So, well, it's been an hour. It flew by. You know, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Amen.
Yeah. So, Jimmy, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I got a lot of people to thank. You know, first and foremost, you know, my family, my wife, my kids. Mm-hmm. But you know, my mom and dad, you know, for backing me and making all this racing possible for me, and my team, you know, Matt and Larry, and my Uncle Bose, Tom Dietz, you know, just, and there's several others that come to the races and support us. All my sponsors, Grand Appliance and TV, Bullseye Boring, R&R Tavern, Lake County Hose and Equipment, Goodwin Performance, Jack's Helmet Designs.
Yep.
Quonset,
yep.
Yeah, they have been a supporter of me in the past. You know, my son and his little landscaping business, Collins Cuts.
Collins Cuts.
Yeah.
How far does he travel? Does he travel across state lines?
Well, if I let him, he would probably go up to 5 hours away. But we had to keep it to the neighborhood, you know, walking distance, you know. So
be home before the lights turn on.
So that's going well for him. He's got 3 or 4 yards in the neighborhood that he offsets, and he does it well.
Awesome.
So
Jack?
My wife.
There you go.
My wife, Rena.
Yep.
She's a great woman. She doesn't like racing, and she lets me go, so that's half the battle.
I have one more person to thank, and it's a big one. Kenny Herman. He's been a family friend of the Sivias for a very long time, and as of recent, the last couple of years, has become a huge supporter of my racing and also my son's, and couldn't be more thankful.
Nice.
And our super fans, the Gregory boys.
They're
always they come every single week, and they're great people.
Yeah.
And I gotta give them a shout out. So
awesome. All right, and then I'd also like to thank Next Gen Pumps, Pullman Auto, Rev Tech Manufacturing, Rouge Helmets, Ashley Bree Photos, Painters Plus, Bay Nelson, Jack's Helmet Design, Pinnacle Media Productions, Daybreak Church, Mirror Image Coatings, Toro Tents, Hold My Beer, and Bricks and Minifigs of Kenosha. And then special thanks to my beautiful wife Ashley, mom and dad Mark and Gail, Big One fan Kyle, Nathan, Lauren, Cooper, Ladders, Dave, Elliott, and my youngest brother Caleb. And his secret word is, man, those helmets are lit. There you go. Do that on the fly. I'm halfway through. I'm like, I don't even know what the phrase is going to be. And then in staging, in 2 weeks, we have Jackson Knack, brand new Bandit driver from up north. He said he'd love to kind of work. He's young. He'd like to work on some of his interviewing skills. So you guys should all tune in, see if we can get him to lock up. No, I'm joking. But yeah, he's a Bandit driver, so we have another Bandit guy on. Those guys are fun. They're a real hoot, those guys. Now that we're parking in the back with them, they are so much fun.
Yeah.
They pack the stands, those guys. They bring a lot of people to the track.
Yep. And then also good news is because next Monday is Memorial Day, so we're obviously off with the podcast. But after that, we will be hitting every Monday, so just more to my plate, but it's always a good time. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming. You have anybody falling asleep over there?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
My wife.
When is before when's your next event? What's your future look like? We'll put you on the spot, bud.
Put me on the spot.
Because you got a shout out at the drivers' meeting on Saturday at Plymouth. Like, where the heck's Derek Crane at, man?
I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that yesterday. Yeah.
Let's
we'll be obviously racing May 25th at Wilmot.
Okay.
And then June, because we're not going up north, we're going to be doing some car shows on that weekend. So we'll be in Oak Creek on Saturday with the MACT campus car show, and then Gurney Buick by Six Flags on Sunday, and possibly Angel Park in the afternoon. I'm not sure yet. Just kind of more
planning on doing any Indiana stuff at all or no?
Yes. There's another race in June. Oh, so yeah, I had a heart attack, a little heart attack. Thank you for asking. No one asks me what am I doing. Everyone's just like on Facebook right away.
You had a win already this year.
Yeah, that trophy's nice. It's right behind you. I was like,
it's a
dang.
nice trophy.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's gonna push the hood down like David Wallace. Not mad at you, David. Just mad at you for hitting the hole 10 times and thinking the hole is gonna just jump out of your way, I guess. Yeah, so I had a mini heart attack because I was just on my phone at Wilmot, like just looking at stuff, waiting in line to buy my general admission, and I was like, Circle City posted something, and I'm like, I knew they had a race, and then I saw Trace Mailer, who's one of the guys
he's one of the guys.
He's one of the guys, and he's in Victory Lane in a Steelbacher. I'm like, and I looked, and I'm like, and they're really quick with their points update, so I looked at their points, and I'm like, we're like 6th now. I was like, oh well, missed one. 24 hours late.
So you're gonna try and hit all those.
I mean, it's kind of nice, yes and no, because like now it's like, well, we missed one.
Yeah.
And they only have like 6 anyway, so it's not even like a very long schedule. But now it's kind of like nice because now it's like, well, if the weather's like 50-50, it's like, we can stay home. We don't have to drive 4 hours. Yeah, pressure's off. But we'll probably hit them up. Obviously, the American Sprint Car Tour. I mean, I was a little surprised you didn't show up. I
went racing with my son.
Oh,
yeah, we went. We had a race. You had messaged me that morning, and that was the first I heard of it. And I told Colin, and Colin's like, "What are you talking about? It's been all over the internet." Like, I was like, "I never heard nothing about it being at Kankakee." I'm like,
"Thanks for telling me."
Yeah. And so we had already planned. We were going to Viola with him, and he ended up winning, but
which is great.
Yeah,
I mean, that made it worth it.
So
so the American Sprint Car Tour, they got some stuff that, like, there's one, I think it's Beaver Dam and Angel Park weekend for you for the Wisconsin Wingless. There's one, but it's super far south in Indiana.
Okay.
So that one, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, just kind of hitting or missing stuff. We're still going for the Wilmot Championship.
Sure.
Finishing 25th the first night, that'll get it.
Now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I don't have to worry about that. Now it's like, oh yeah, So, and there's that one weekend there. Yes, Scott Sprout, I did melt the butter.
It's too bad they don't have one drop per season.
They do.
So I don't know what Wilmot, if they're doing that, but I know Wingless, IRA, they're doing 2 drops.
Oh.
Yeah, they're going to give us two throwaways.
Yeah, nice.
And that's new this season.
Yep. So, so now it's either go to Life Fest in World of Outlaw weekend or run with World of Outlaw. So it's, just a lot of stuff. And, with my father-in-law and his health with stage 4 esophageal cancer, just kind of, I don't know, this year's been a little bit different already. So it's just,
Week to week.
Yeah. Day to day, really. Like, I'm just like, what's tomorrow? I'm like, Tuesday? That's Tuesday, Derek's problem. We'll figure that out in the morning when my alarm goes off. So, awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And then don't forget to check in next week on Monday because we will be uploading the bonus footage, which we'll be recording right now. So, awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and peace out, Girl Scout.